telling you kids, don't come to Hollywood. I'm serious.
Your camera.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse.
In 2022, Jim Carrey looked directly into a camera and called the industry spineless en masse. He wasn't just having a bad day. He was sickened by the standing ovations given to the powerful while the truth remained a buried secret. Most see him as the rubber-faced comedian of the 90s, the man who could make $20 million just by moving his eyebrows. But his story isn't a comedy. It's a brutally honest study in survival. Before the $25 million checks, he was a high school dropout who slept in a tent and mopped floors just to keep his family alive. This is the story of how a survivor from a tire factory became a legend, and why he eventually chose to tear down the very mask that made him a god. Stay close, because the version of Jim Carrey you think you know never actually existed.
You had a real messed up childhood.
I had an odd childhood. It was a lot more messed up than I thought, apparently, according to the team of doctors.
At 16, while other kids were worrying about prom, Jim Carrey was doing 8-hour graveyard shifts as a janitor and security guard. His family had hit the skids, living in a Volkswagen van parked on a relative's lawn. Imagine this. You're 15 years old. You've just finished a full day of high school, and now you're scrubbing the floors of the Titan Wheels factory until 4 a.m. Jim later admitted that this period filled him with a sickening rage. He carried a baseball bat on his security rounds because he wanted to bash someone's head in. When he finally stepped onto a comedy stage at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, he wasn't looking for laughs. He was looking for an escape. But the industry wasn't ready. The club played Crucify Him to boo him off stage. He was rejected by Saturday Night Live 3 separate times. The gatekeepers looked at the most talented man of a generation and saw nothing.
I turned 16, I dropped out of school.
Because?
Well, my family had, kind of hit the skids. We were, experiencing poverty at that point. And we got a job where the whole family had to work as security guards and
But a man who has survived homelessness doesn't fear a closed door. This struggle built a psychological callus, a survivalist's armor, that made him impossible to intimidate once he finally reached the top. 1994 turned Carrey into the biggest movie star on Earth. 3 #1 movies in a single year. A feat that will likely never be repeated. But inside the personality the world loved, Jim began to see the social contract of Hollywood. It's an unspoken agreement. We give you the fame, the money, and the private jets, and in exchange, you remain silent in the face of betrayal. He watched as the industry protected predators for decades, utilizing what he called a trust apparatus. Think about it. How did someone like Harvey Weinstein operate in plain sight for 30 years? Because of the legitimacy provided by the industry's moral authorities. Oprah Winfrey was central to this. For years, she was the gatekeeper of truth, yet she was constantly photographed standing on the arm of Weinstein. As actress Caitlin Noble described, seeing Weinstein with a figure as trusted as Oprah made her believe he was safe. It gave young actresses the confidence to walk into a predator's room. Jim saw this machinery of curated trust and realized that the same people who marketed him as a fun-loving clown were the ones keeping the industry's darkest secrets under lock and key. By 2014, the funny man persona was showing more than just cracks, it was shattering. On the Jimmy Kimmel Live set, Jim didn't just walk out. He made a point. He threw up the triangle gesture, mocking the very idea of entertainers being puppets for a hidden system. He was telling the audience, this is all a distraction. He mocked the idea of celebrities being rewarded for staying quiet to keep the public docile. He was tired of the secrets and the lies. And when you stop playing the docile mascot, the retaliation playbook is deployed. In 2016, a wrongful death lawsuit was filed against him following the tragic passing of his ex-girlfriend. The media went into a frenzy, but the lawsuit was built on what a court later determined were forged documents and fabricated evidence. The goal wasn't a legal win. The goal was to damage his reputation so badly that his truth became too expensive for the public to hear. They wanted to turn the double genius back into a crazy person. But they forgot one thing. Jim Carrey had already mopped floors at a tire factory. You can't take away the dignity of a man who has already lost everything once. In 2024, something unexpected happened. Jim entered the recording booth for Sonic 3 with Keanu Reeves. Now, in Hollywood, Keanu is the untouchable. He is the one man whose reputation is so clean that he is considered the industry's moral compass. During this time, Jim spoke openly about the pressure to return as a quieter version of himself, to reclaim the mascot role he had outgrown. The industry wanted the 90s Jim back. They wanted the mask. But Keanu didn't just listen. He publicly aligned himself with Jim, calling him a creative genius and a double genius. This wasn't just a compliment. It was a public alignment the industry noticed. The most beloved man in cinema was standing in the corner of its most vocal critic. For the first time in years, the janitor from Scarborough had an ally who carried real weight. Today, Jim Carrey hasn't disappeared. He chose to leave. There's a difference. The man who once commanded $25 million a picture has largely traded the red carpet for a canvas. He is creating what he calls models of his inner life. Through art, he is attempting to find wholeness beyond the mask. He once warned us that the media can have you thinking the bad people are good and the good people are bad. He spent 40 years playing a character so the world could feel better, only to realize that the world didn't want him. It wanted the disguise. Now that he's found peace beyond the costume, the only question left is, can you see the man behind the mask? Stay close, because the truth is always more interesting than the performance.